Hello. Hi. We're going to get set up here, so give me a second. Hey guys! I'm like, woo! Doing it everywhere. Okay, so we've got Instagram going and YouTube so that I can send an email later with an actual link to the video. Okay, so I'm here finally. Thank Inanna. We'll just go with Inanna today. Thank Venus for letting me be here today. It has been a wild ride the last 40 days. So I'm going to explain in 1 minute. So if you're on YouTube, just hang tight for a sec, fast forward a little bit. Waiting for the Instagram peeps to show up. Hi, guys. Okay. So I've got a lot to talk about. All fun, informative, really great stuff. Just give me my light here. So I've been gone. I've been away for 40 days. Exactly, I think, to the day yesterday. So today is my full first day back at work. And I wanted to explain what happened and what I went through because I want to help recreate that for you. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What happened? Okay, so it's my 40th birthday, right? Let's reverse 40 days. 48 days ago, it was my 40th birthday. And on everybody's 40th birthday, you have a Venus return. And so what that means is Venus ends up in the same exact place it was as the day you were born on your birthday. So Venus hits every year the place it was on the day you were born, but the angle it is from the sun only happens every 8 years. Venus has a 5-pointed star as well. So when she is in orbit around the sun, from our perspective, it looks like she makes a 5-pointed star. And so on your 40th birthday, she completes that cycle. She's hit that spot in your chart exactly where you were when you were born 40 years later. She finishes that 5-pointed star. So I thought to myself, okay, cool. I've never really had an initiation into womanhood. I didn't have any of the natural things that sort of happen to you when you become a woman. Like for example, having a baby or adopting a child kind of initiates you into motherhood, which initiates you into womanhood. And I never really had that. So I said, all right, there's no better time to have an initiation into womanhood than when Venus is making her return on my chart. So I did that. I enlisted a dear priestess friend to help me, and I gave her what I wanted to do, and she did the ritual for me. And hi, Emily, by the way. So I took Inanna's original descent and ascent story from the cuneiform tablets and reenacted it in my life. I reenacted it on my 40th birthday. So, okay, cool. We go and do that. And I'm like, all right, I'll be good as new the next day and I'll be ready to, rock and roll and we'll just keep going. And then the next day, I posted one thing. I had no urge or desire to do anything, to post anything, to be visible whatsoever. And I got this legit, just smack across my head. You're going into the desert now. And I was like, haven't I been there for the last very many years? Why? Well, again, really? What? So I had this deep urge to do nothing. I was taking a break from everything. And I was in a fortunate enough position to do that. I'm going to put that out there right now. That isn't something I can say, like, suggest for everybody to do, but I had the opportunity to do it. So why not? And Spirit was like, this is time. This is your time. So I'm like, okay, this is what I do. So I disappeared. And it wasn't in my usual way of disappearing, which is like, I fucking hate everything and I hate this and I'm just going to run away. This time it was a very like grounded and informed decision to not show up, not to explain it, and to just go and do the thing I was going to do. So that reminded me, well, originally I was like, fine, let's do this for a week. I can do nothing for a week. That's fair. That's like a vacation. And then that week was like, no, you're not coming back after a week. And I was like, all right, I've got some runway here. 30 days. 30 days is like a normal secular thing to do, right? Like it's a month long and it's like fine, whatever. And around day 20, I realized, oh, no, 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 no. This wasn't going to be a month long or a week long. This was going to be legitimately 40 days. It's not going to be 39 and it's not going to be 41. It's going to be 40 days of you being in this spiritual desert. I had no contact with my guides, really. Like the last thing I heard them say was shut it all down. In not so nice of a term, actually. It wasn't all that like gentle. And shit in my life hit the fan. All aspects of my life, shit started hitting the fan. And I'm really thankful that I didn't have anything to do then. And also some other things were coming up. I was clearing out things. And not even on purpose. I wasn't trying as my usual, like I'm really psychologically forward, so I'll just like try to make my life better. And it was just one thing after another that was like, nope, I'm next, I'm next, I'm next. And it started coming up. And it wasn't necessarily a painful process, but it was just like, wow, there's a lot of shit in there that wanted to be seen. So I'm like, cool, I got this, right? And as I started to realize around day 20 that this was going to be a 40-day thing, first of all, I got really antsy because how would I not be productive for 40 days? That's like anti, capitalism, basically, anti-American, it's very hard when your partner's really like is Capricorn man and really is always like, and you feel like a lazy fuck, right? And so a lot was coming up even around that. And also I started to realize like, wow, Venus is really coming out. So I'm saying all this to really express the importance of Venus here, because this didn't happen on any random day. This happened on a Venus day. This happened, especially, well, today is Friday, by the way. Happy Venus Day. And I do believe my birthday was on a Friday. So it also was a Venus day then. And it was my Venus return. It was all of that. And I started thinking about the Bible and all of these other things that happened for 40 days. So, for example, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights in Genesis. I've got a whole list right here. 40 days after sighting the tops of the mountains, Noah set forth a raven and a dove. Raven and a dove, guys. That's a whole other story, but I think some of you know what that's all about. Joseph mourned the death of his father Jacob for a period of 40 days. Moses on Mount Sinai, 40 days. Moses pleads for Israel for 40 days. Goliath taunted Israel for 40 days. Elijah fasted and journeyed to Horeb for 40 days. Ezekiel bore the iniquity of Judah for 40 days. Jonah warned judgment for 40 days. Jesus fasted in the wilderness for 40 days after he was baptized by John, by the way. And Jesus was seen 40 days after his crucifixion. Okay. There's also 40 days in a season, right? Or in between Sabbaths. So we've got, let's see, I think I have that. Yeah, there is 40 days between Imbolc and the equinox. That's right. and also origins of Lent right there. So we in this society are very solar focused, but it is integral into our very beings how important Venus is. And it kind of gets, I don't know, like not swept under the rug, but sort of, because this society isn't even really about the goddess that much or about the feminine, or, obviously we live in a patriarchal society. So things, yeah, they get swept under the rug, or they get squashed, or they just get ignored, or there's just not enough awareness about them. And it is obvious that we live by the sun because the sun is there every day. You can see it when it's daylight. Venus, on the other hand, you cannot always see her, and sometimes she's in the early morning and sometimes she's in the evening, and whether you're awake during those times, you may not notice she's even there. And the main part of this 40-day excursion for all of these people, the Bible, and what I had ended up doing, it all ties back to this story of Inanna, who also is represented by Venus, who weeps for her husband for 40 days. And so Inanna, the story of her descending into the underworld, my voice just started going, excuse me. So she she descends into the underworld. And as she does this, she is removing and is forced to remove parts of herself that identify her as the goddess and queen that she is. And so this was the ritual I took from the cuneiform tablets and did on my birthday. And since that was a very special Venus day, personally for me, it made sense. But what's happening soon on July 22nd is Venus is retrograde. So it is a whole other opportunity to do this ritual again. So what I would like to do is hold that space for people and run everyone through the ritual that I went through that changed me completely on my birthday until yesterday, which was the 40th day. And what I can say about what that ritual did for me is hard to put into words. But what I can say is that all of the mental blocks that I was putting in my own way, I was able, during this relax and attract era of the 40 days, I was able to see that it was me. It took me out of my behind my own eyes perspective and put me somewhere else. And while it was pulling me out of my own perspective to see myself differently, I was able to then easily start pulling up all of these things that have been holding me back in so many ways, in my relationship, in my business, in my ability to bring in money. All of this has changed completely, and I want that for you too. So what this, and also let's just put that a minute aside. If you are someone who is looking to become fertile, so this can be physically fertile or symbolically fertile, this is an amazing time to do it because Venus is going retrograde, which lasts for 40 days. I don't know if I mentioned that. I've been all over the place a little bit. Lasts for 40 days. But also, a human baby is gestated in the mother for 40 weeks, which is 7 periods of 40 days. So for every chakra, you get 40 days basically to develop and then become born. And when Venus is going retrograde, so if this is the sun and this is Venus, what's happening is she is visibly closer to us. Well, you can see, like, pretend you're Earth, right? Here's the sun and here's Venus. As she gets closer visually to the sun, she will then create a conjunction, which is a powerful moment, a kazemi, and then she will start to go back this way, becoming an evening star. So from October 22nd of last year until September 3rd, I want to say, is the conjunction. Yeah, no, that's when she goes direct. August 13th, she has this evening star quality about her. So she was here on October 22nd. She's been an evening star this whole time. Then she will conjunct the sun and become a morning star. And then like a week or so or two after that, she becomes direct again. So what's happening is she is going from going down into the underworld, becoming naked, and resurrecting. By the way, when she is here, you don't see her for 3 days, and then she resurrects. So sometimes we think about the Christ story as a solar story, but it's also a Venusian story, which also makes more sense for other parts of the Bible. But that's a whole other story. So what I want to do is reenact this ritual with you, if you want, and it is a walking down into the underworld to then ascend back out. Just as she's doing right now, it's the perfect time to do this. And it's the perfect time for fertility. It's the perfect time for your own mental awareness to shift and change. And anything Venus really represents is the perfect time to do right now. So for motherhood, for fertility, for abundance, I mean, I could go on forever about Venus, beauty, balance, relationships. This is the best time to do that. And what I also would like to say is this sun conjunct, this kazemi that's happening with her and the sun, is on August 13th. Now, if you've downloaded this calendar that I give away for free, this is the basically the ritual calendar of the year based off of celestial events. This also happens to be, just this year alone, this happens to be the Festival of Torches for Diana, Queen of Witches, and the Sirius portal that's happening there. I think people call that something. I can't even remember what people call that now, which has to do with Mother Mary and the Assumption of her, because her Assumption Day is the 15th, when Sirius becomes 15 degrees away from the sun. So having Venus do all this activity around this fixed star Sirius is huge. This is huge stuff. This is very powerful stuff. Fixed stars are some of the most unsung, underrepresented parts of astrology that there is. It's very powerful stuff. So I don't know where else I'm going with this except for the fact that I wanted to share what happened to me. I wanted to share why I disappeared, even though I have a part of this was the erasure of explanation to others. It was a womanhood initiation, and usually, women don't give a fuck, right? Like, I look at my grandmother when I was a kid, I look at her, she just run around town, didn't give a shit what other people thought. And I, young me, was embarrassed of that. My mom was the same way. And I come to realize as an adult, like, that is a part of being a woman, is dropping what you care about what other people think. And so I wanted to explain from my heart what I did for the last 40 days, but not explain what I did, like, not give an explanation or an excuse or anything. Like, that's gone from me. I have zero fucks anymore about what other people think of me. And it's so freeing. So if you want to be a part of this female womanhood fertility initiation, I'm going to be holding it on the day she goes retrograde, July 22nd, which is Mary Magdalene's feast day, which is no friggin' coincidence, you guys. Mary Magdalene is the human representation of Venus on Earth. That is what she represents. Mother Mary is represented by the moon. Mary Magdalene is represented by Venus. You can see that on the Empress Tarot card. Empress Tarot card is a pregnant woman with a shield, or I think it's a shield next to her, with the Venus glyph on it. So the planet Venus rules that card. Mary Magdalene is the representation of the fertile woman who bears the bloodline of Christ in some traditions, at least the one I believe in. So that being said, this is all very much tied to the desire to be a whole woman, feel whole. We're all already whole, but to feel whole is the point. So I'll be holding that on, I keep forgetting that July 22nd. I will be holding that on July 22nd at, I believe, 2:30 in the afternoon. You can check out the information on my website, which you know where to find that. And yeah, let me just see if anybody, I love this. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. I'm glad you liked it. And yeah, let's see. Oh, I'll tell you about what I'm going to do with that. We are going to do the ritual, not only just do the ritual of the descent and ascent, we're going to meet quickly, weekly, until September 3rd, when we all will ascend together. So we will have quick little touch bases to make sure we're continually staying in this relaxed mindset, because what does Venus do? Venus doesn't go out and get stuff. She relaxes and stuff comes to her. She exudes her desires and it comes to her. So we will be meeting up until the very last day where she goes direct, and we will do that ritual together to hopefully seal in all of the effects that your intentions at the beginning were. So if your intentions were, okay, I want to be more fertile physically or symbolically, then let's seal that in at the end. You'll also get 2 of my talks regarding Venus, just for more information. And during the initial initiation on that July 22nd, we will be going through a more astronomical, so you understand what's happening in the sky, plus some more history and herstory into what really was in that tablet and how we're gonna do the ritual. And so what you need for the ritual is all on the page on my website. You do need physical things for this. This isn't just a show up and do. This is a physical act of taking off and putting on certain feminine things. And you'll see the list there. And it's actually quite fun to have all those like dress up, very ritualistic priestess gear on and taking it off and putting it back on, and having someone bring you through it. I think that was the best part for me, is that I wasn't just reading a script and doing it myself, which makes it feel less important. There was somebody directing me and listening to me. A part of the original ritual with Inanna was her sister Ereshkigal had 2 beings that would repeat after her. They would essentially take her pain and repeat it back to her, so she felt heard. And to have someone there that was there to listen to me and there to reflect back what I was feeling about taking off each certain part of my ritual, it was the most healing clearing that I could think of in order to put stuff back on and become a new woman. It was very powerful. And I hope that what I'm saying here, it's coming across. So if you would like to join, head over to my website. Everything's all there. You'd love to do this in person? Yeah, that would be so cool. If I if I would have had more time, that would have been a really fun one to put together. But I didn't realize I was doing this until like the 38th day of my 40-day after 30 days, I was like, oh my God, when is this over? The last 10 days were like, I really want to get back to work. And yeah, so sitting there with all of this extra new energy that was coursing through me, it was a little difficult, but I'm glad I made myself stick it out for the full 40 days, pretty much just like Lent. So okay, I hope this was informative, along with giving you an invitation to join me on the 22nd. And I will see you guys really soon because I'm back, baby. Bye. Oh, I'm still live. Hi guys. Okay, I'm still live. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I'm fixing my Instagram now. Bye.